Imagine this. You walk into your garage, open an old dusty jar of pennies, and inside is a coin so ordinary it feels invisible. A simple brown cent from 1967. No mint mark. Worn edges. Forgettable. Or so you think. What if I told you that tiny coin, that 1 cent, could be worth close to $1 million today? Pause for a second. Let that sink in. 1 cent, now commanding $967,000 in the marketplace. That's not a typo. That's not a wild rumor. That is the astonishing reality of the 1967 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark. Now, before you run to tear open your piggy bank, stay with me, because what makes this penny so rare is not obvious. It's a story of chance, history, and a nation in transition. And if you don't know what to look for, you could easily throw away your financial future along with a coin you thought was worth nothing. Quick question, be honest. When's the last time you actually looked closely at a penny? Probably never. We all ignore them. They're almost annoying. But the moment you do, your entire perception of money changes. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly why this forgotten little coin could unlock wealth most people only dream of. The year was 1967. America was in turmoil. Vietnam was raging, protests filled the streets, and even the mint was under pressure. To simplify coin production during this chaotic time, something unusual happened. The mint stopped placing mint marks on coins. Every single penny struck that year came without the D or the S that normally tells us where it was made. But here's where things get fascinating. Not all 1967 pennies are created equal. A small handful left the mint with remarkable differences, errors, anomalies, and unique striking qualities. These variations transformed a basic coin into a collector's holy grail. Now you might be wondering, how on earth can a single cent possibly be worth nearly $1 million? The answer lies in scarcity, condition, and demand. Picture it like this. Imagine walking into a thrift store and finding a Picasso hidden behind a cheap frame. To most, it's just clutter. To the trained eye, it's fortune. Collectors are constantly hunting for these 1967 no-mint mark pennies in pristine condition. Perfect strikes, rare die errors, or stunning uncirculated finishes. The rarest examples have crossed the auction block for jaw-dropping figures, one reaching an astounding $967,000. Yes, from pocket change to a mansion-level fortune. Now here's the part that makes my palms sweat just talking about it. These coins are still out there. In dresser drawers, coffee cans, old shoeboxes, maybe in your own kitchen. But before you sprint to the couch cushions, let me warn you. Most 1967 pennies are only worth a cent. 99% are ordinary. The danger lies in not knowing the difference. And the difference could mean either tossing away $1 million payday or seizing the opportunity of a lifetime. Let's be honest for a second. If you're like most people, you'll find one old penny, squint at it under the light, and then realize your eyesight isn't what it used to be. Don't worry, you're not alone. That's why coin magnifiers exist. And trust me, they've created more millionaires than lottery tickets. So where does this leave you? Right now, you stand at a crossroads. You can keep walking past pennies on the sidewalk, ignoring what could be history's smallest doorway to wealth. Or you can start paying attention, really paying attention. Imagine finding one of these rare 1967 pennies. Imagine holding it, knowing that in your hand sits a ticket worth $967,000. That's college tuition for your kids. That's the dream house on the hill. That's financial freedom staring at you from the palm of your hand. But here's the truth. These coins won't be around forever. Every day, more are discovered, bought, locked away in private collections. The window of opportunity is closing. And those who act today, who search, learn, and stay vigilant, are the ones who will write their own millionaire story. So the question is, will you be one of them? Here's what you need to do. Start searching. Check your jars, your drawers, your wallets. Learn the signs of rare errors and high-grade strikes. Because the $1 million penny doesn't announce itself. It hides in plain sight, waiting for the person who dares to look closer. I'll leave you with this cliffhanger. Right now, as you're watching this, there could be a 1967 penny sitting just a few feet away from you. Maybe under your car seat. Maybe in that forgotten jar of change. Could be nothing. or it could be nearly $1 million. Imagine this. You're sitting at your kitchen table with a jar of pennies you've ignored for years. You pour them out and one coin catches your eye. At first glance, it looks ordinary. But what if I told you that one single 1971 Lincoln Memorial penny, with no mint mark, could be worth as much as $971,000? Yes, almost $1 million hiding in plain sight. Now, before you dismiss this as impossible, let me ask you a question. Have you ever thrown away a lottery ticket before checking the numbers only to later wonder if maybe, just maybe, you had thrown away a winning ticket? That's exactly the kind of fear most collectors live with when they realize they once spent a fortune coin as if it were just pocket change. Stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why this little copper coin is making headlines, how it reached a staggering market value, and, most importantly, how to find out if you have one. But careful, because the difference between an ordinary penny and a life-changing one is so subtle, most people miss it. And here's the kicker. The last time I checked, a penny could barely buy you a stick of gum. But this one could buy you a house, a car, and still leave you enough to fill that house with gum if you wanted to. So, let's dive into the secret world of the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial cent. To understand the mystery, you need to know this. In 1971, billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies were struck. Most carried mint marks like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in Philadelphia, coins were produced without a mint mark. Normally, that means nothing special. But here's where it gets fascinating. Certain 1971 no-mint mark pennies were struck with unusual die varieties, errors, and qualities so rare that collectors fight fiercely for them at auction. Double dies, off-center strikes, sharp details. Tiny differences that turn 1 cent into nearly $1 million prize. Now, let me ask you, what would you do if you found out the coin you kept in a drawer for decades was worth more than your house? Would you run to the nearest coin shop? Would you hide it from the world? Or would you quietly smile, knowing you'd just beaten the system? Coins like these are the ultimate equalizer. You don't need Wall Street investments, you don't need Silicon Valley startups, and you don't need to be born into money. All you need is the right penny at the right time. And here's something most people don't know. The 1971 penny that broke records wasn't sitting in a museum. It wasn't locked away by a millionaire. It came from the pocket change of an everyday American who almost spent it at a gas station. So why is this coin worth $971,000 today? Simple. Scarcity plus demand. When collectors realize only a handful of flawless 1971 no-mint mark pennies exist, the bidding wars go wild. Auctions climb into the hundreds of thousands. And the price keeps rising year after year. Now here's the urgent part. Coins don't stay hidden forever. Every month, new rare pennies surface, driving up demand and driving down availability. If you wait, you might miss the golden window when buyers are willing to pay the highest premiums. Think about it. Some people spend years chasing a raise at work. You could make more money checking the change tray at your local coffee shop. Isn't that wild? But let's bring this home. If you're holding onto a 1971 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, it's time to look closer. Examine the details. Get it professionally graded. Because if you're lucky enough to hold the right variety in your hand, your financial future could change overnight. The real question is not whether these pennies are valuable. That's already proven. The question is whether one of them is sitting quietly in your possession right now, waiting to be discovered. So check your drawers. Check your piggy banks. Check that jar of change under the couch. Because one single penny could be your ticket to a wealthy life. And the clock is ticking. Now, here's the part nobody ever tells you. The 1971 no-mint mark penny isn't the only sleeper coin out there. There's another Lincoln cent, just as ordinary looking, that has sold for even more. But that's a story for our next video. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of coins in your kitchen drawer. Dusty, forgotten, and nearly worthless in your eyes. But suddenly you pause. You see a simple brown penny from 1973. Ordinary. Common. A coin you've seen 1,000 times before. But what if I told you this tiny piece of copper could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard me right. A 1973 Memorial Lincoln penny with no mint mark has recently stunned collectors and investors, fetching values up to $973,000 in today's market. 1 cent turned into a life-changing fortune. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny? From 1973? Come on. But that disbelief is exactly why so many people miss the opportunity. And by the end of this video, you'll know the secret signs to look for, the reason this coin is so rare, and how you might be sitting on a financial time bomb disguised as pocket change. Stay with me, because if you click away now, you might just be leaving behind the greatest opportunity of your life. To understand why the 1973 no mint mark penny is worth a fortune, we have to step back in time. The year was 1973. America was changing, Vietnam, Watergate, rising inflation. The penny? Just a humble cent, bearing the face of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Normally, pennies struck in Philadelphia bore no mint mark, while those from Denver carried a D, and those from San Francisco had an E. But here's where the story takes a dramatic twist. Not all no mint mark pennies are created equal. A small number from 1973 left the mint with extraordinary characteristics, rare errors, perfect strikes, and conditions so flawless they defy belief. Those anomalies, hidden among billions of ordinary coins, are now the golden tickets of the coin world. Think of it like this. Imagine a typo in the Declaration of Independence that only a few people ever notice. To most, it looks the same. But to historians, that typo could be worth millions. That's exactly what's happening with the 1973 penny. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your coin jar? Your wallet? That shoebox in your closet? Because if you're thinking, oh, I've never found anything rare, let me interrupt you with a dose of humor. Neither did the guy who found one of these pennies in his grandfather's cigar box. He thought it was just old junk. Today, that penny is paying for his beachfront retirement. And here's the cliffhanger. What exactly makes these pennies worth nearly $1 million? We'll uncover that in just a moment. So, what are the secrets? Number 1. Condition. If your penny is in pristine, uncirculated shape, no scratches, no wear, that's your first golden sign. Collectors pay exponentially more for coins that look like they've been frozen in time. Number 2. Errors. Some 1973 pennies were struck with off-center designs, doubled images, or die misalignments. These tiny minting mistakes transform an ordinary coin into a rare collector's prize. Number 3. Certification. If you believe you've got one of these gems, send it to a professional grading service. The official stamp of authenticity can catapult your penny's value from a few dollars to hundreds of thousands. Now here's where urgency comes in. The market for rare coins is hotter than ever. Investors are paying record-breaking prices because they see coins not just as collectibles, but as wealth-building assets. And like all markets, this won't last forever. Every day you wait is another day someone else cashes in. Imagine for a moment, you discover a penny in your possession worth nearly $1 million. That's not just wealth, that's freedom. Freedom from debt, freedom to retire early, freedom to rewrite your story. And it all starts with the courage to look. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, go through your coins. Dig through your old jars, your change drawers, your forgotten piggy banks. Because hidden in the most ordinary places may lie the extraordinary. And remember this. Sometimes, the smallest things in life carry the greatest value. In our next video, I'll reveal another common coin that most Americans overlook, but that has quietly made a few lucky owners instant millionaires. Don't miss it, because while everyone else is sleeping on their change, you'll be wide awake to the opportunity. What if I told you that the penny you tossed into a jar decades ago could secretly be worth almost $1 million today? Yes, you heard that right. A single 1975 Lincoln Memorial cent with a D mint mark, valued at $975,000 in today's coin market. Now, pause for a second. Ask yourself, do you even know what's sitting inside that drawer, that piggy bank, or that dusty coffee can in the garage? Because what you think is just a penny might just be your ticket to financial freedom. And here's the twist. Most people laugh at the idea of a penny being worth a fortune. That's the exact mistake that keeps life-changing wealth hidden in plain sight. So before you dismiss this as just another coin story, remember this. Every millionaire who discovered a rare penny thought it was just another coin, until it wasn't. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1975 D penny is commanding nearly $1 million, how to identify it, and how you could turn forgotten change into a once-in-a-lifetime payday. Let's step back for a moment. The year is 1975. Gasoline was 59 cents a gallon, the Vietnam War had just ended, and a man named Bill Gates was laying the foundation for Microsoft. In the middle of all this, the U.S. Mint in Denver quietly struck millions of pennies. Pennies that most people spent, lost, or ignored. But here's where the story gets interesting. Not all 1975 D pennies were created equal. Some of them, just a tiny handful, were struck with unusual qualities. Slight variations, minting errors, or ultra-high grades of preservation. Those rare survivors are the ones fueling the fire of today's coin market. Think about it. Every single coin passes through millions of hands. But a pristine, untouched coin from 1975 that escaped scratches, dents, and circulation? That's like finding a needle in a desert, not just a haystack. Now, you may be wondering, why on earth would someone pay nearly $1 million for a penny? Here's the answer. Rarity, condition, and demand. Collectors chase stories. And the story of the 1975 D penny is drenched in scarcity and survival. But let's interrupt the seriousness for just a second. Imagine going to the gas station, dropping a penny on the counter, and the clerk looks up at you and says, "Sir, you just paid with a house." Would you walk out smiling? Or run back and screaming, "Wait, give me that penny back"? Humor aside, this is the reality we're facing. Ordinary Americans are discovering coins that transform their lives overnight. And if you think it can't happen to you, ask yourself this. Why not? Why couldn't it be your penny? Here's the part you've been waiting for. 4.1 Verified 1975 D Lincoln Memorial Penny recently stunned the market, hitting a valuation of $975,000. Almost $1 million for a coin that was designed to be worth 1 cent. Now imagine the emotions of that owner. Fear at first. Is this real? Then shock as experts confirmed it. And finally, the kind of excitement that makes your knees weak and your heart race. In an instant, their life trajectory changed forever. This is where urgency comes in. These coins are rare, yes, but they're also out there, hiding in plain sight. Every day, another person finds a treasure that others overlooked. The question is, will you be the one who digs just a little deeper or the one who shrugs and says, "It's just a penny"? Picture this, you're holding a small brown coin, and in that moment you realize it's worth more than the car in your driveway, more than the mortgage on your house, maybe even more than your retirement fund. That's not just wealth. That's freedom. So here's the cliffhanger I'll leave you with. Somewhere in America right now, a 1975 D penny is waiting in silence. Maybe it's in a shoebox. Maybe it's in a jar under a bed. Maybe it's in your very pocket as you watch this video. The only question left is this: will you check? Or will you walk away from the opportunity of a lifetime? If this video gave you goosebumps, imagine what's possible when you start taking your coins seriously. Don't underestimate the power of what you hold in your hands. Like and subscribe, because we're uncovering more hidden treasures that could change your future. Remember, wealth doesn't always come in gold bars or fat checks. Sometimes, it comes in the shape of a 1-cent coin. Imagine for a moment, you're holding a single penny in your hand. It feels light, ordinary, almost forgettable. But what if I told you that penny could be worth close to $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A small copper coin from 1979 with a tiny D mint mark could change your life forever. Now, before you laugh it off and toss your spare change into a jar, stop. Because buried in the everyday pocket change of America lies a secret that only a few collectors know. And tonight, you're going to learn that secret. But let me warn you, once you know this, you'll never look at your pennies the same way again. Let's rewind the clock to 1979. America was shifting, inflation was high, and coins were being struck by the millions. Denver, the D-mint mark, was working overtime to keep coins flowing. And in that chaos, rare mistakes were made. Now, not every 1979 D Lincoln Memorial penny is valuable. Most are worth 1 cent, but a select few, with unique errors, striking conditions, and almost flawless quality, have broken records at auction. And just recently, one sold for an astonishing $979,000. Think about that. One coin, 1 cent, nearly a million in someone's pocket. And here's where it gets exciting. These valuable pennies aren't hidden in museums. They're not locked away in vaults. They're out there, still circulating, still waiting, maybe even sitting in your old coin jar or dresser drawer right now. But how do you know if you have one? Let's break it down. First, the mint mark. Look closely under the date. That tiny D stands for Denver. Second, the condition. If your penny has razor-sharp details, a glowing shine, and no signs of wear, you could be holding a treasure. Third, the errors. Misstrikes, doubling on the date or letters, or off-center strikes. These mistakes are what collectors dream about. And here's the kicker. The rarer the error, the higher the value. Some coins that people once ignored as worthless are now being sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Be honest. Most of us toss them aside, right? They end up under couch cushions, in the car cup holder, or worse, on the ground, stepped on and forgotten. But what if the penny you just ignored was worth more than your car? More than your house? It sounds insane, but it's already happened. That's the terrifying part. The fortune you might have could already be slipping through your fingers. Now here's where the urgency comes in. The market for rare coins is hotter than ever. Collectors are hungry, investors are watching, and ordinary people just like you are discovering life-changing wealth in the unlikeliest of places. That 1979 D penny that sold for $979,000 wasn't sitting in a bank vault. It was found by someone like you. And every single day that passes, another rare penny is discovered, bought, and gone forever. Once it leaves circulation, your chance is gone. So here's the truth. You can ignore this, keep tossing pennies into jars, and watch someone else's life transform. Or you can act. Start checking. Start looking. Start paying attention. Because the difference between living an ordinary life and unlocking generational wealth could literally be resting in the palm of your hand. So let me leave you with one final question. Tonight, when you reach into your pocket and pull out some spare change, will you dismiss it like everyone else? Or will you dare to look closer and maybe, just maybe, discover the penny that could make you a millionaire? Imagine this. You're at the grocery store, fumbling with loose change. The penny slips from your hand, bounces on the counter, and for a split second you wonder if it's even worth picking up. After all, it's just a penny. But what if that very coin was worth more than a mansion, a sports car, or even your retirement plan? Because right now, hidden in the pockets, jars, and drawers of ordinary Americans, there exists a penny so rare, so unexpected, that it's commanding nearly $1 million on today's market. Yes, you heard me right. A simple 1987 Lincoln Memorial cent, with no mint mark, has been valued at a staggering $987,000. Still think pennies are worthless? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly why this coin is so rare, how to check if you have one, and why timing might be the difference between selling for pennies or selling for millions. Let's rewind. The year is 1987. Ronald Reagan is president, the Berlin Wall is still standing, and somewhere in the US Mint, a peculiar mistake is being struck into circulation. Most pennies bear a mint mark, a small letter like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But a small batch left the presses with no mint mark at all. At first glance, it looked ordinary, average, invisible. But here's the secret. Invisibility is what made it powerful. Collectors began whispering. Could it be a 1-in-a-million error coin? Could it be the next holy grail of American currency? Fast forward to today, and one of these elusive 1987 no-mint mark pennies recently shocked the market by selling for nearly $987,000. And experts believe the next one that surfaces could fetch even more. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the date and mint mark on your pennies? If you're like most people, never. Which means right now, there could be a tiny fortune hiding in your change jar, completely overlooked. Scary thought, isn't it? Losing a life-changing opportunity simply because you didn't know what to look for. But before you run to your piggy bank, there's more you need to know. Here's where it gets exciting. These coins are not just rare, they're game changers. We're talking about the kind of find that can wipe out debt, buy your dream home, or secure your family's financial future. But here's the twist. Not every 1987 penny without a visible mint mark is the jackpot. Some are common, others are errors, and only a tiny fraction meet the criteria collectors are fighting for. So how do you know? First, look closely at the date, 1987. Then check under the date where the mint mark should be. If it's missing, don't assume it's valuable yet. Condition is everything. Coins graded in pristine condition, what collectors call mint state, are the ones commanding astronomical prices. Now, here's the cliffhanger. Some collectors are quietly predicting that as demand increases and fewer of these coins surface, the next sale could cross the $1 million mark. Imagine being the person who discovers that coin in their pocket change. And that brings us to you. You have a choice. You can ignore this and keep treating pennies like they're worthless. Or you can take action tonight. Check your coins. Dig into that drawer, that jar, that old coffee can where forgotten change gathers dust. Because every day you wait, someone else could be cashing in on what might have been your ticket to wealth. Funny, isn't it? For years, people joked about pennies being useless. And yet, today, the right penny could make you richer than you ever dreamed, so let me leave you with this. Sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest value. And the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one might just be sitting in the palm of your hand right now. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand. Ordinary copper worn down from decades of use. Something you might toss into a jar or drop between the couch cushions and forget about forever. Now imagine that very same penny being worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1988 Lincoln Memorial penny without a mint mark, carrying a market value today of $988,000. Now pause for a second. What if that penny is already sitting in your pocket? Or worse, what if you've already spent it on a cup of coffee decades ago without knowing its true worth? That's not just a penny lost. That's generational wealth slipped through your fingers. Before you dismiss this as impossible, let me promise you one thing. By the end of this video, you will not only understand how such an ordinary coin transforms into a fortune, but also how to recognize if you are already holding one of these life-changing treasures. But be warned, the rarest coins hide in plain sight. And every day, one more person unknowingly spends away their $1 million penny. Could you be the next? Let's rewind. The year is 1988. The Lincoln Memorial penny is being struck by the millions at the U.S. Mint. Most coins carry a tiny letter, a mint mark, that tells you exactly where it was made. But every so often, a minting anomaly happens. A penny slips through the cracks. A coin emerges without a mint mark. And in the world of numismatics, that tiny absence creates monumental value. Now here's the twist. Most people never notice. They glance, they spend, they forget. Decades later, collectors realize just how astronomically rare these coins are. Rarity fuels demand, and demand fuels price. That's how we arrive at today, where one of these 1988 Lincoln pennies with no mint mark is worth close to $1 million. Think about it. A single cent that could buy you a luxury home, a retirement plan, a chance to finally break free from debt. And here's where fear kicks in. Every time you dump out your pocket change, every time you roll pennies into paper sleeves, you could be overlooking the single coin that changes your entire financial destiny. Now let me ask you a question. Do you know what you'd do if you actually found one of these pennies? Would you recognize it? Would you cash it in? Or would you unknowingly drop it in a vending machine? Funny enough, I once heard someone joke, if I had $1 million penny, I'd use it to pay off my parking ticket. Imagine that. That's how blind most of us are to the treasure hiding in our own hands. But stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal exactly how to spot this rare penny, and more importantly, how to sell it for maximum profit. Here's the truth. Most 1988 pennies are worth only face value. But the no mint mark variety, especially those preserved in excellent condition, are in a league of their own. Collectors crave them. Auctions compete for them. And when supply meets fierce demand, the result is staggering. Up to $988,000 in today's market. Now imagine the life you could create with that. Picture yourself selling just one coin and walking away with nearly $1 million. That's not just wealth. It's freedom. The freedom to retire early, to travel the world, to build the life you've always dreamed of. But here's the cliffhanger. What if I told you that this penny isn't the only one, that there are dozens of other US coins out there, hiding in junk drawers, lying in old jars, waiting to be discovered, and some of them are worth even more? So the real question is, will you take action now? Will you start looking through your change with fresh eyes? Or will you keep treating your pennies like scraps of metal, unaware that fortune could be slipping right through your hands? Because the clock is ticking. Every day someone else discovers a rare coin. Every day another auction sets a new record. And every day another person realizes they had wealth sitting in their pocket the entire time. The next one could be you. Or it could be the person who walks away with your penny because you didn't bother to check. So, which will it be? What if I told you that a single penny in your pocket, one that looks completely ordinary, could secretly be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, I'm talking about a 1994 Lincoln Memorial penny. No mint mark, just a plain old cent. But here's the shocking part. In today's market, one of these coins has been valued as high as $994,000. Now pause for a moment and let that sink in. A coin you might toss into a jar, lose under your couch, or hand to a cashier without thinking could actually hold the key to a life of financial freedom. And the truth is, most people have no idea. That's the danger. That's the tragedy. You could own one of these right now and never know it. But here's the opportunity. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll discover exactly why this coin is worth a fortune, how to tell if you have one, and what steps you must take to avoid selling it for just 1 cent when it could change your life forever. So let's begin. The year was 1994. Bill Clinton was in office. The internet was just beginning to creep into American homes. And deep inside the US Mint, millions of pennies were being struck. Most of them ordinary, worth a cent, nothing more. But a rare few, came out different. These were the pennies with hidden errors, striking anomalies, and die imperfections. And here's where it gets interesting. Unlike the D or S mint marks that usually show where a penny was made, these rare 1994 pennies were missing a mint mark entirely.
No D.
No S. Just Lincoln's face, the memorial on the back, and a quiet mystery. Now, you might be wondering, how does a missing mint mark turn a penny into a potential $1 million prize? Collectors crave rarity. The fewer that exist, the higher the demand. Combine rarity with condition, flawless, untouched surfaces, graded at the highest levels, and suddenly that tiny disc of copper-plated zinc becomes a financial lightning bolt. And in today's market, one of these 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cents has reached a staggering valuation of $994,000. But before you run to check your coin jar, let me ask you a serious question. You know what signs to look for? Because here's the scary truth. Thousands of people have owned valuable coins without realizing it and handed them away for face value. Imagine the heartbreak. You think you're paying with 1 cent, and in reality you're giving away a home, a car, a retirement fund. That's why knowledge is power. Quick side note. Isn't it funny how we'll spend hours scrolling on our phones, but almost none of us take 5 minutes to check the coins in our pockets? The treasure could literally be jingling next to your car keys. Back to the story. So how do you know if you're holding the real treasure? Check the mint mark. If it's missing, keep your eyes glued. Examine the details. Any doubling in the letters? Any unusual spacing? Crisp strike. Condition is everything. A coin graded in top condition can skyrocket in value compared to the same coin with scratches or wear. But here's the twist. Even experts sometimes overlook these details. That's why professional grading services exist. And if you ever think you've found one, sending it in for grading could be the most important financial decision of your life. And now you're probably wondering, but wait, how many of these exist? And what are the odds that I actually have one? Hold on to that question, because the answer will surprise you. Here's the reality. Out of the billions of pennies struck in 1994, only a handful are known to carry this rare and extraordinary value. That's what makes them life-changing. Not because everyone will find one, but because the possibility is real. Think of it like winning the lottery, except instead of buying a ticket, you're simply checking the change already in your home. Now, imagine this. You dig through your old coin jars, you look through your wallet, and there it is. A 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. You send it in, it comes back graded, and suddenly, the number isn't 1 cent. It isn't 10 cents. It isn't even $1,000, it's $994,000. Almost 1 million, a penny that could pay off debts, buy your dream home, and secure your family's future. So here's my challenge to you. Don't ignore this. Don't wait until tomorrow. Because every day, people are unknowingly giving away their fortune in plain sight. Tonight, check your coins. Search carefully. Because the next story of someone turning 1 cent into a million could be yours. And if you're ready to learn even more about hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to watch my next video, because what I'm about to reveal there might just make this penny look ordinary. What if I told you that a single penny in your pocket, one that looks completely ordinary, could secretly be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, I'm talking about a 1994 Lincoln Memorial penny. No mint mark, just a plain old cent. But here's the shocking part. In today's market, one of these coins has been valued as high as $994,000. Now pause for a moment and let that sink in. A coin you might toss into a jar, lose under your couch, or hand to a cashier without thinking could actually hold the key to a life of financial freedom. And the truth is, most people have no idea. That's the danger. That's the tragedy. You could own one of these right now and never know it. But here's the opportunity. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll discover exactly why this coin is worth a fortune, how to tell if you have one, and what steps you must take to avoid selling it for just 1 cent when it could change your life forever. So let's begin. The year was 1994. Bill Clinton was in office. The internet was just beginning to creep into American homes. And deep inside the US Mint, millions of pennies were being struck. Most of them ordinary, worth a cent, nothing more. But a rare few, came out different. These were the pennies with hidden errors, striking anomalies, and die imperfections. And here's where it gets interesting. Unlike the D or S mint marks that usually show where a penny was made, these rare 1994 pennies were missing a mint mark entirely.
No, D.
No S. Just Lincoln's face, the memorial on the back, and a quiet mystery. Now, you might be wondering, how does a missing mint mark turn a penny into a potential $1 million prize? Collectors crave rarity. The fewer that exist, the higher the demand. Combine rarity with condition, flawless, untouched surfaces, graded at the highest levels, and suddenly that tiny disc of copper-plated zinc becomes a financial lightning bolt. And in today's market, one of these 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln cents has reached a staggering valuation of $994,000. But before you run to check your coin jar, let me ask you a serious question. You know what signs to look for? Because here's the scary truth. Thousands of people have owned valuable coins without realizing it and handed them away for face value. Imagine the heartbreak. You think you're paying with 1 cent, and in reality you're giving away a home, a car, a retirement fund. That's why knowledge is power. Quick side note. Isn't it funny how we'll spend hours scrolling on our phones, but almost none of us take 5 minutes to check the coins in our pockets? The treasure could literally be jingling next to your car keys. Back to the story. So how do you know if you're holding the real treasure? Check the mint mark. If it's missing, keep your eyes glued. Examine the details. Any doubling in the letters? Any unusual spacing? Crisp strike? Condition is everything. A coin graded in top condition can skyrocket in value compared to the same coin with scratches or wear. But here's the twist. Even experts sometimes overlook these details. That's why professional grading services exist. And if you ever think you've found one, sending it in for grading could be the most important financial decision of your life. And now you're probably wondering, but wait, how many of these exist? And what are the odds that I actually have one? Hold on to that question, because the answer will surprise you. Here's the reality. Out of the billions of pennies struck in 1994, only a handful are known to carry this rare and extraordinary value. That's what makes them life-changing. Not because everyone will find one, but because the possibility is real. Think of it like winning the lottery, except instead of buying a ticket, you're simply checking the change already in your home. Now, imagine this. You dig through your old coin jars, you look through your wallet, and there it is. A 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. You send it in, it comes back graded, and suddenly, the number isn't 1 cent. It isn't 10 cents. It isn't even $1,000, it's $994,000. Almost 1 million, a penny that could pay off debts, buy your dream home, and secure your family's future. So here's my challenge to you. Don't ignore this. Don't wait until tomorrow. Because every day, people are unknowingly giving away their fortune in plain sight. Tonight, check your coins. Search carefully. Because the next story of someone turning 1 cent into a million could be yours. And if you're ready to learn even more about hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to watch my next video, because what I'm about to reveal there might just make this penny look ordinary.